Ladies and gentlemen, Alice Bartlett.
Hello. We're probably running over, but this talk actually takes -minutes. So by the time I've finished, we'll be finishing at the right time, which is really impressive. And I'll be the physics teacher and explain how I've done that. I'm going to talk about my sort of side project, which is Tampon Club. This is a logo that Mark Hurrell, who is here, made for us. It's very brutalist, and it has, as you can see, a tampon very centrally, which is also great. There's a content warning. This talk is about tampons, but it'll be over really quickly. So if you're not into that, maybe you can find a coloring sheet to do also. Anyway, so I have this sort of centrally held premise, centrally held idea, which is that toilets should have tampons in them, just like, and or sanitary towels, just like how they have toilet paper. Because having a period is not very glamorous, it's not very luxurious, and when you have a period and you need a tampon, it's not like, it's just very inconvenient, and it's kind of like, you'd be annoyed if there was no toilet paper and you had to walk around with a sticky bum. Try being a woman who can't find a tampon. Anyway, so I was thinking about this one day, and I was working at GDS, and so I had this problem, and this sort of idea that tampons should be everywhere was sort of thrown into sharp relief working at GDS, because this is a very big office, very sort of corporate-feeling toilets, cleaned by an external company, and we do hot desking there, or sort of pretend hot desking, but there's no desk drawers, and so there's nowhere to like stash your tampons should you have them, and so instead everybody gets a locker. And so my locker was very far away from the toilets, and a couple of things happened. One was that sometimes I would need a tampon and I'd go to my locker, and then I'd have to walk across the office with the tampon in my hand because I didn't have any pockets in the outfit I was wearing, and so it'd be sort of concealed in my balled up fist. And I would get sidetracked by someone. I remember very, very particularly Matt Sherritt, who would not have been embarrassed if I'd said, "Matt, this is a tampon and now is not a good time," but I didn't want to make him feel awkward, and I liked Matt, so we had this whole long conversation, and the whole time I was just sort of like doing this, thinking, I wonder if Matt thinks it's weird that one of my fists is clenched right now. But to be honest, maybe he didn't think that was too odd. I am a sort of tense person, so it might seem normal. The other thing is, and if you've ever had a period, you'll probably recognize this, but there are a couple of occasions when you have these sort of back-to-back meetings that last like 3 hours, and you get to that stage where you're like, well, you know what, I'm probably going to be able to change my tampon in time, provided I don't sneeze and nobody makes me laugh. And if either of those things happen, then I'm just going to annihilate a pair of underpants, and it's going to be really super sad. So, and when you're on that knife edge, the thing you don't want to do coming out of that meeting room is to have to go past the toilets to your locker to get out a tampon, to run that gauntlet with your colleagues about whether you're going to have a conversation with them or not. Anyway, so this is like the situation I was in. And I was kind of thinking, well, if I could just leave my tampons in the toilet, if I could hide them somewhere maybe, that would really, really solve this problem. And then what I realized was what I needed to do was leave them in the toilets and then just give them this sort of air of legitimacy that would mean that no one would clear them away. And that was when I thought, I've got to do something called Tampon Club. So I did this. This was Tampon Club V1, and that's just a GDS-type poster and some tampons. And GDS is a really fertile type of area for this kind of idea. That wasn't really meant to be a joke, but I can see why. But like, there's a lot of people there who want to like change things and are very receptive to ideas and don't think this is kind of a weird concept. And so it was quite popular, which is great. And so then I kind of did Tampon Club V2, and we got this cool logo from Mark, and I also put some in the accessible toilets there. And I thought maybe if I have this problem and lots of other women here at GDS enjoy this facility too and can contribute their own tampons, it's like a sort of like a co-op for tampons. Or sanitary towels, then maybe other people would like this too. So I made a website, tampon.club, and we have this cool logo. On there it has some stuff about how you set up a tampon club. It's incredibly simple, as you can imagine. But there are a couple of like tips and things I learned. And we went on the radio, BBC Radio 5 Live with Sam and Dave. That was like a weird day. But BBC Radio 5 Live listeners, not typically people interested in tampons, but they were very nice about it anyway. And then I set this whole thing up and I said, if you tweet me a picture of your Tampon Club to the Tampon Club Twitter account, then I'll send you some stickers in a post, which I do, and I've sent probably about 200 now to people, and I get nice stories from people, like the woman who had a baby, but then pregnancy really fucks up your body, I didn't realize, but you don't know when you're going to get a period ever again, and so, you can't really plan for that, but her period arrived sometime after the baby, and she was fine because there was a tampon club in the toilet that she went to, and so it wasn't a problem. She was just able to take a tampon. It was very convenient. There's the person who had a job interview and got her period. What do you do if you have a job interview and in the interview you get I got to stop you, I need to go to the toilet. By the way, do you have a tampon? Like, that's not, But the great thing about that is she didn't know there was going to be a tampon in the tampon club in the toilet. She was just going there to do kind of damage limitation, and what a great impression of that workplace she must have got when she realized that a bunch of people had come to that toilet previously and thought, this is for everyone, people can use these, this will be great. And she emailed me and told me that story, and I was like, gosh. So that's really cool too. So people tweet me pictures to the Tampon Club account, and that's really nice. So if this seems interesting to you, then please ask me for a sticker, I'll send you one. I feel like you don't have to be really into tampons to do this, or sanitary towels. And also you can do it anonymously because we have a tampon club and it has a logo and people can go to the URL and find out about it, and you don't need to be the person in your office that's really pushing tampons on everyone. But you can be, but also I will take that heat. So if you're interested, then come find me later. Grab your tampons, it is club starting time. Thank you.